Welcome back to Quest for You. Another week ahead of us. We don't know what it will bring. Maybe you have a big week with lots of events and appointments, like I do. Maybe you're taking some time off, then good for you. Either way, every new day ahead bears many unknowns and uncertainties. But there's one thing for sure that you can count on, and that's my podcast. You can integrate it into your morning and make it a daily practice to listen. Some motivation and inspiration for your day. Maybe a shift in your focus, a new idea, something you may want to work on, or just think about a bit more. This is my hope, that this podcast is your companion on your quest for a better you, maybe a healthier you, a more focused you, kinder, more generous you, a more mindful you. Whatever your quest is, I'm here to support you. I'm on the same quest. I also want to be the best Janine I can be. So let's walk this path together, shall we? Today, episode 341, I want to start out with a short tale. Once upon a time, 3 blind men stumbled upon an elephant in their village. Not knowing what it was, they decided to learn about the animal through touch. "Hey, the elephant is a pillar," said the first man, who touched the elephant's leg. "Oh no, it's not. It's like a huge wall," said the second man, who felt the belly of the elephant. "No, it's like a large flappy fan," said the third man, who touched the elephant's ear. They began to argue about the elephant, each insisting he was right. Then they shared their dilemma with a passerby, giving their individual descriptions of the elephant. The woman replied, "Yes, you are all correct," and walked away. Has this happened to you? You are so convinced that you were right, that you didn't see anything else. And before you know it, you find yourself in a heated argument, adrenaline levels rising along with frustration. Not avoidable entirely. As much as I try to stay away from arguments like that, it happens unexpectedly during a regular conversation on a topic I know a lot about, when suddenly someone puts something I have always believed as true into question. Sometimes we are 100% convinced that we're right, and a lot of times we are actually right. Maybe the other person just misunderstood something, or maybe we did. But here and today, I want to help you to stay out of those useless arguments that waste so much of our energy. Being right is not so important. It's merely our ego afraid to be wrong, and at the same time, it wants to be validated. It's fear and the need for approval. Fear to look stupid, and approval so we can feel we belong. And we spend so much energy on that. But does this really matter? Can you remember all the arguments in your lifetime where you fought for your opinion? Nobody will sit around the dinner table remembering how right you were yesterday or a year ago. Being right only matters to us. In the grand scheme of things, I believe, it's meaningless. It doesn't teach us anything. It doesn't help in our growth. And it doesn't make us a better person, being right. Reputation is just a coat that covers us and looks good. Your true self, not your reputation or image, is what matters. Being right doesn't necessarily mean that other people are wrong. So you spend all this energy on proving your point, while the other person's point is valid just as well. In the tale I shared, everyone is right. We all look at things in different ways. From my angle, it looks right. From yours, it does too. We are both right. Being right imprisons you. What you know can keep you stuck if you're only seeking to validate it. Trying to be right is closing the door on other viewpoints, new possibilities, and most importantly, change. It keeps you in the same place, like a person that hoards their money and constantly counts it to make sure it's all still there. If you want to grow, you have to invest a little. If you want to learn new things, you have to be okay with being wrong sometimes. Since I started climbing, I have met so many people that know it all. They know the best way to tie all the knots. They place the safest protection, and they just know it. And they will try to argue tooth and nail. As soon as I think I've learned something, someone will come along with 20 years of climbing experience and tell me I am wrong, and I was taught wrong. And you know what I learned to do? I learned to say, yes, you are correct. Just like the passerby in the tale. You are correct. I say it even if I don't believe it. Why? For the 3 reasons I just gave to you. Being right just doesn't matter so much anymore. My energy matters more. My time is more valuable. And the relationship with the other person means more to me than proving my own knowledge. And even if I'm wrong, there still might be a possibility the other person is wrong too. I decided to take my chance and let the other person be right. If they want to be right, I let them. If it matters so much to them, I give it to them, happily, because it doesn't matter to me, and it's so much more peaceful. And I don't want to be stuck. What if they have a valid point? What if there's a chance I might learn something new? Instead of arguing my point, I ask questions. Tell me more about this. Why do you think this way? And where did you learn this? While letting them be right, I give myself time. I question my knowledge as they explain their reasoning. By trying to understand their point of view, I give myself permission to be wrong. Instead of just focusing on one thing, I open my mind to be inspired by new and different options. Too often, we launch into a counterattack much too quickly. We haven't heard the full story. We haven't clearly understood the context. We jump to conclusions without seeing the entire picture. Letting the other person be right first gives you time. Time to analyze your knowledge. Space for them to explain themselves, and time for you to listen. And time to breathe and evaluate the importance of this conversation. After that critical time, if you think the other person is truly off, you can then gently steer them into the right direction with your curious questions. Instead of arguing your point, you can propose it as an alternative. What do you think about this? Have you heard about this? What's your opinion on this matter? Not needing to be right anymore has relieved me of a lot of unnecessary stress, and it has opened my mind to more learning and also more humility. I encourage you, if you struggle with being argumentative and insisting on being right, practice being wrong. In your next argument with someone, concede defeat, even if you're right. I find losing liberating, so much weight coming off my shoulders, so much energy conserved for more important matters in my life. Try it on something that doesn't matter so much to you. Play with it, see how it feels. And if I still haven't convinced you, then maybe my ending quote will. Because, and you know this, trying to be right all the time puts other people off. Nobody wants to hang around someone that is stuck on only one thing, on being right all the time. It's by Jules Renard. If you are afraid of being lonely, don't try to be right. I wholeheartedly agree. Much love, my friends.